Okay, good evening, everyone. And we are live now for the feed formulation class. And it's a good one to have an expert in that field joining us in the live stream today. So I know now, when they talk about the catfish farm industry, we have various value chain in the catfish farm industry. And now there is one value chain that tied all the other value chains together, which is the feed. Because in catfish production, after the first time, maybe you've done your pond and other expenses that you're doing, feeding is what you do at every time you're doing your production cycle. You always feed at that time. And with the high cost of feed in this period, a lot of farmers, if you see three farmers gathering together to make complaints, they talk about the high cost of feeding, which have also increased their cost of production. So if your cost of production is high and you're not making good sales, it will affect you in the line of the business. So that's why today we are looking at how to cut costs by going into the feed production. How are you going to go into the production, the things necessary for the feed production. And we have an expert in that area, Mr. Speed Ezekiel. Yeah, he will do more of the introduction himself, what he does. I've been following his page for a long while now, and he's into so many areas in the cattle farm industry, and he's somebody that has been in this business for a long time with vast experience. So shortly he's going to be telling us who Speed Ezekiel is, who the Speedy Farms, Speedy Grace Farm is all about, and what they do before we proceed for the class. So thank you very much, sir, for joining us in the live stream today. I know a lot of persons are already waiting to hear from you. So you can do an introduction about yourself and what your company or your business is all about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth Odomena. Good evening to you,
Yeah,
and
sir.
good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, all over the world. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. My all right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here with you.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Speedy Ezekiel, the CEO of Speedy Grace Farms, a subsection of Speedy Grace Exceptionalism Limited. We are located at number 10, Elega Village off Otunlode, Akobo, Ojurin, Akobo, Ibadan, Oyo State. And I have about 17 years of wealth experience in this field,
Wow.
training people, traveling to about 24 states in Nigeria, setting up farms, consulting for people, and doing different things. And it's an opportunity to connect with Mr. Kenneth, and also a very good opportunity to be here on this platform. Now, apart from being a farmer, a fish farmer, practicing fish farmer, I'm opportune to have studied the course in school from my national diploma in fisheries, Federal College of Freshwater Fisheries Technology, New Busa, Niger State, Nigeria, where I studied fisheries technology. And I also from there I went to Federal University of Technology, Mina, where I got my Bachelor's of Technology, Water Resources, Aquaculture and Fisheries. And then I went to University of Ibadan, where I got my master in aquaculture and fisheries management. Now,
Wow.
the passion I have for aquaculture is so much that nothing can quench it. It's a burning passion, and aquaculture is so rich, such that you don't really need to go into any other sector. It is an all-enriching sector.
That's all.
Like Mr. Kennedy said, it has a lot of value chain opportunities. And one of the value chain opportunity is the feed formulation, the fish feed that we'll be talking about is one of the value chain opportunity in aquaculture. And like he has rightly said, a lot of people have questions to ask on how to produce their feed, on how to get a not just quality feed, but a steady supply of a good quality fish feed. Because if you ask anybody now, they will tell you, I can produce fish feed.
Yeah.
If you ask anyone, they'll say, yes, I can produce fish feed, I can do this. It's easy. But then you should know what a fish feed is, how balanced a fish feed should be, and a lot of questions that come out from knowing about fish feed formulation. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, fish feed and its production are an important part of modern commercial agriculture, which
Yeah.
helps in providing balanced nutrition needed for your fish. So it's a vital aspect of commercial aquaculture. Now,
Okay.
I have to use that term because um, anyone who is into aquaculture business is into the business for profit making.
Yes.
You cannot compare your commercial fish farm to another person who is having a subsistence fish farm. You
Yes.
cannot compare your commercial to someone else who is having just something for family and friends. You
Yes.
get the point. Now,
Yes.
for you to be able to sustain your production in aquaculture, you need to understand that providing balanced nutrition needed for your fish is a practical necessity and a moral obligation on you to carry out. It is a necessity.
Okay.
And we will now move forward to knowing different types of feed. You want to produce fish feed. Now you need to know the types of feed that are available. Number one, we have the powdered feed.
Yes.
The powdered feed is the one that is used for starters, for the fry, and at times for fingerlings. Then we
Okay.
have the granule type of feed, and then we have the pellets.
Okay.
The granule type of feed comes out from an extruding machine that has been granulated into sizes. And normally they come from sizes of 1 mm in diameter, 2 mm, up to 6 or 8 mm, depending on the dye you have at the time of production. Then we also have
Okay.
the pellets. So we have the powdered feed, we have the granulated
The
feed, and then we have the pellets. Then in setting out your fish feed production, there are things you must understand. You need to understand that your feed comprises of an animal source and a plant source. The animal source source of protein, then the plant source of protein for your fish. Now, you need to understand that there is a need for a protein source, there's a need for carbohydrate source, which is for energy, there is a need for amino acids, there's a need for ash, there's a need for moisture. There is also a need for the crude fiber and crude lipid. There's a need for the ash, there's a need for moisture, there's a need for the crude protein, there's a need for the crude lipid, and there's a need for crude fiber. All these things will make up the production of your fish feed. Now, the animal protein origin are usually nutritionally superior than the plant protein origin. You don't just say you want to make feed. A lot of people just go to the market and they say, is GNC available? Is corn available? Give me, add. I'll go and grind. I'll give my fish. You need to know the size of your fish. Now, before I go ahead into talking about this, in formulating your fish feed, the number one factor you consider is your production system. Are you using an earthen pond? Are you using a concrete tank? Are you using a hopper system? Are you using a collapsible mobile tarpaulin pond? Are you using a fiberglass tank? You need to understand different types of culture medium that you're using for production. This will now inform you the type of feed that you will need to produce for your fish. For example, if you're using a concrete tank and a collapsible mobile tarpaulin pond, you cannot successfully use a sinking feed, which is called the pellets, because when you administer that feed, it goes down to the bottom. A lot of people have come up to say catfish are bottom feeders, they'll pick. No, most of these sinking feed, they are easily digestible depending on your ingredients. Now, the reason for the extruded feed, which comes in granules, is because it is parboiled, it is cooked. And once the fish ingests it, it will not start digesting immediately. Unlike pouring or administering the sinking pellets in the water. Vis-a-vis this, if you introduce some sinking pellets into the water, you discover that it will go to the bottom of the container or the bottom of the, for example, just let's imagine that we have 2 bowls of water. You administer some quantity of the sinking pellets into water. What happens is that it will go at the bottom and it will start dissolving. The powdered form that you had initially that was molded by the pelleting machine into that pellets, it will return to that state. However, for the granules, which is the extruded feed, when you administer it, it will float on water. It does not start digesting, it does not start melting immediately. It will stay there, and after some time, it will now start melting. So these are the things you should understand. Your type of production system. You need to know the type of production system you're using and the type of feed, the type of fish feed you should use for your production system. Now, I started by saying that animal protein source are nutritionally superior
Than the
than
plants.
the plant protein source. Why? Why is it this way? Because animal protein generally contain a high level of indispensable amino acids, and they are more digestible by catfish than plant protein. Now, the amino acid like the methionine, the lysine, the alanine, arginine, um, cysteine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid, glycine, histidine, isoleucine, leucine, methionine, threonine, proline, phenylalanine, serine, tryptophan, and tyrosine. Most of them are available in the animal protein source.
Yes.
Now, if you use enough animal protein source, you may not need to add any of these amino acid into your feed formulation. If you use enough quantity of your animal protein source, I'll be mentioning some of the animal protein source that are available that you can easily make use of. However, you should understand that the animal protein sources, they are superior
To
than
the
the
plant.
plant protein sources, and then they are easily digestible. You understand? Now,
Yes.
examples of some animal protein. Number one, we have the mag meal.
Okay.
Mag mag meal is maggot meal.
Okay.
It is not readily available. Even if it is available, you don't get to see it always. However, it is a good source of animal protein for fish. Number two, we have the fish meal. There are different types of fish meal. We have
Yeah.
Danish fish meal, we have the 999, we have the prime, we have fish meal from India. However, in Nigeria here, we have our local fish meal. We have Clupid. Clupid is a good source of fish meal. We have the combined fish meal that has the prawn, the dried fish, different types of fishes, different type of aqua animals. They are a good source of animal protein. Then we now have the burnt fishes. Those
Yeah.
ones, they are not really high in protein. They are about 55%. The combined aqua animal fish source, they are around 65%. Then the clupid is around 69 to 72%. And then the other imported fish meal are 72, 75%. So we have the mag meal, we have the fish meal, we have feather meal.
Okay.
Feather meal is very rich and very high in protein. As much as 80, you can get 85% crude protein from feather meal.
Wow.
Yes, it is very rich. You have blood meal.
Yeah.
Blood meal is a good source of protein. You have the oyster meal. You have the mussel. You have shrimp head meal. You have the squid meal. You have the poultry meal. Then you have dried meat. Now, a lot of people use dried meat. However, it is not readily available. The growing population does not support any company to waste meat these days. The only time
Yes.
you can get meat available is when there is no steady power supply and the meat has gone rancid or
Yes.
or with bad odor or taste, then they have to now dispose it.
Yes.
So no meat monger or meat seller prays that his meat goes bad or her meat
Got
goes bad. So as much as an aquaculture farmer is praying to have meat to buy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So as long as I did say earlier that there's no meat monger that prays for his or her meat to go bad because
Yeah.
there's somebody in aquaculture that want to buy. So as much as the person in aquaculture is praying to have meat meal, the one bad meat, the one who is selling the meat is praying to sell off the meat on time and is checkmating the power source so that nothing
Yeah.
goes bad. You
Yeah.
understand? Now, feather meal in itself has amino acid.
Yes.
Feather meal has a good quantity of amino acid. All these animal protein sources, they have a very good number or a very good percent of amino acid. Now, when you're producing your fish feed, you should understand that the inclusion rate of your protein should not be lesser than 30%, depending on the size of your fish. Depending on the size of your fish. Now, I'm saying that to say that apart from using animal source of protein, you also have the plant source of protein, and then there are other ingredients that you use. For example, there are some other energy sources that you use that has some percentage of protein in them. Now, the plant source of protein, number one, we have barley,
Okay.
barley malts. Number two, we have the soya bean meal, the SBM. Number three, we have the GNC, granite cake. Number four,
Yeah.
we have the BNS, benefit, and then we have poultry byproducts. They are good source
Of
of
the
the plant
plant.
protein.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the energy sources, of course, either plant or animal protein should have an inclusive rate of 30%.
Yeah.
30%. Now, the energy sources should also have an inclusion rate of 30%. Now, your protein inclusion rate can be between 30 and 40%, depending on the size of fish you are producing. So if your production inclusion for your fish, if you're looking at a finisher, that's a table size or a
Okay.
or a broad stock,
Work.
your inclusion rate should be between 25 and 30%. So no inclusion rate for protein should be less because fish needs it
Yes. For
very well
growth.
for growth. Yeah. Now energy sources. Number one, we have broken rice. Now 80% of these ingredients I'm mentioning are readily available in the market.
Okay.
They are readily available. They are available very well with us here in Ibadan. Readily available. You have the rice bran, you have biscuits, you have gari. When you meet um, gari producers, there
Yes.
is this part of gari that they don't use that they call locally. It's called is it popo gari they call it, that has
Okay. Both is
formed. Yeah, that has formed the tough crumbs. You
yes.
know, but what a lot of people do, I dare say, is they gather those crumbs, they grind it, and still sell to people. That's why when you go to the market, you see different types of gari. You see the
Yes.
gari that is the real gari in seed-like form. Then
Then
you
see
see
this
the other gari that is
standard. Yes.
powdered. If you soak it in the water, you don't need to. It just gets soaked. Those are the type that
Yes.
Nigerians easily drink. Do you understand? Those are the type
Yes.
that Nigerians easily drink. They don't soak it because it will get strong and solid immediately.
Yes.
They are gotten from this gari that has formed crumbs. that people grind. Now, those garri that form crumbs, they are available for sale.
Yes, in the
You can
market.
buy them, grind them, and include them in your fish feed as an energy source. Broken rice, when you get to feed millers, local rice feed millers, they have this broken rice available.
I'm with you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Like the network
Yeah, so
just failed.
this broken rice is available in different feed mill. The broken rice is available in different feed mill, and you can easily access them. The same place you get your rice bran, you can get the broken rice. All you just need is to grind it and include
Yes.
it in your fish feed. Another energy source is biscuits.
Yeah.
There are different types of biscuits. Another energy source is bread.
Bread.
Bread. All these ingredients I supply to people. People have been using it. I don't say what I don't know. I don't say
Yeah.
what I've not seen results with. People use
Yes.
it very well. Do you know that a lot of people do you know that a lot of people replace soya bean with biscuits?
Okay. In terms of production.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, a lot of people replace soya bean with biscuits because biscuit has a very high percentage of protein. So it is also in the class of plant protein. Now, another energy source is red oil.
Red oil.
Red oil is an energy source. Bread is an energy source. Maize is an energy source. Cassava peel flour is an energy source. Cassava flour is an energy source. Cassava tuberous meal is an energy source. Sunflower oil is an energy source. Now, a lot of people say if I don't use maize in producing my fish feed, I can't use anything. Remember, whenever you want to produce any fish feed, go and check or look out for the properties and the potential of that particular ingredient.
Yeah.
Maize, the calorie, the energy of maize is 3,400. However, the calorie of sunflower is 8,585.
Wow. More than
The
times two of it.
Yes, more than times two of it. The energy for corn bran is 2,584. The energy for wheat bran is 2,318. However, wheat bran has a crude protein of 15%.
Wow.
Now, you need to understand these ingredients and what they can supply.
Yeah.
You need to understand them. Then we also have molasses. Molasses is also a source of energy. Then dried unripe banana
Wow.
is also a source of energy. Now you see a lot of people with unripe banana that they cut and it's just abandoned on the road. Nobody looks at it. Nobody does. You can actually get them, dry them, incorporate it into your feed. It's a very good energy source. Do you know that a lot of the chips, the so-called plantain chips that people buy in Lagos
Yeah.
Express, 60% of them are from unripe banana. They are not plantain.
Wow.
just to tell you the type of energy, and it is your ripe one that gives energy. And for the records, we have plantain flour that
Yeah.
people make as swallow. They
Yes.
also have banana flour that people make as swallow. These are energy sources. Now it is the availability and the competition. In one thing you must understand is in choosing and going for a feed ingredient, you must choose feed ingredients that there are less competition on
Okay.
and that are readily available in the market. Something you can always count on, something you can always depend on. For example, at the beginning of this year, between January and February, I was able to supply over 30 tons of bread.
Wow.
But as at June this year, as at June, we couldn't get 500 kg of bread because competition has increased.
Yes.
Competition has increased. Who is competing? The human consumers. The human consumers are competing with us that want the bread for fish. And then I
Yeah.
had the opportunity to speak with one of the CEOs that owned the bread company. And what he said is, see, Speedy, he's a Lebanese. He said, Speedy, I didn't leave my country to come here to produce bread for fish. I came to produce bread for
For woman.
yeah. But guess what? Do you know how we get those bread? Those breads are not gotten because they are stale or old.
Yeah.
Once the bread turn brownish, they
Wow.
sell them off as waste because they have a class of bread they want to produce. So what they
Yeah.
did was to sack everyone that was giving them a poor results. They employ people that will give them what they want,
Give them a better
and then they
results.
reduce losses for them. You
Yeah.
understand? Now, you need enzymes in producing your food. We have talked about the protein sources, animal and plants. Then we have also talked about energy sources. Then now you need enzymes. Enzymes, when you add enzyme to your feed, it transforms the complex feed components into consumable nutrients. It helps the ingredients you have put together to be easily digestible or to be easily digested by your fish. That is the work of the enzyme.
Yeah.
Then you need mold inhibitor. If to go into commercial, if you're to go into commercial um,
Production.
production, you need mold
Yeah.
inhibitor to reduce the activities of mold on Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. I can hear you.
You need okay. We need the mold inhibitor to reduce the activities of mold on the feed. You need enzymes, and most especially when you are selecting your ingredients. Hear me very well. When you're selecting your ingredients, you must be careful not to select ingredients that has been infested by organisms.
Yes.
When you have different organisms carry out activities on some of or most of these your ingredients that you use, it reduces the potency and ability for what it is to offer in your feed formulation and production. When you, for example, when you go for maize or GNC or what else again, Bennett seed or something, and you have them infested, it's like you're using chaff.
Yeah.
You're no more using the original ingredients you're supposed to use. So enzyme
Okay.
helps to improve nutrient utilization for your fish. Now, for fish feed production, you need to, number one, when you want to go into commercial fish feed production, you need to understand some things. Number one, you need to understand machines.
Yeah.
Don't just say, I have money, I want to start producing feed. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to understand machines, how machines work, what they do, the type of machine you need, and the type of service or services the machines will be rendering. So you need to understand the hammer mill, and if need be, buy the hammer mill, which helps you to grind your ingredients to powder. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You need a sieve
Okay.
to filter your ingredients after grinding. You need a mixer, a wet mixer. You need an extruder or a pelletizer. You need a dryer, and you need a place for storage. You need to understand these things. Then you need to understand the types of machines available. Would you want to go for a diesel machine? Would you want to go for a petrol machine? Would you want to go for an electric machine? So you need to understand these types of machines, how they function, what they do. You need to understand them. Then number three, you need to understand the module operandi of the machine. Is the production capacity 100 kg per hour? Is it 50 kg per hour? Now, a lot of people prefer to use pellets because with pelletizing machine, you just pour the ingredient, any ingredients, you just put it together and produce. Do you know that you can use fish meal, cassava peel, soya bean,
So the network is
hello,
having a big glitches.
can you hear
Okay.
me?
I can hear you now. The network was a bit shaky.
Okay. Do you know you can use soya
Yeah.
bean, cassava peel flour, fish meal, salt to produce your feed, and then you
Oh.
get results? It is not compulsory that you use all the ingredients available.
Okay.
You can use 3 ingredients, 5 ingredients, at most 7 ingredients, or even 6 to produce your fish feed comfortably. You can use biscuits, cassava peel flour, soya bean, GNC, produce your feed. You're good. It will supply all that the fish needs. Get your lysine, get your amino acids, get every other thing in place, and you produce your feed. Very easy. And then the fish will thank you at the end of it. You know? Now,
Okay, the network is a bit shaking. Now, still as we wait for him to resolve the network from his end, if you're online and you have any question you want to ask Mr. Speed Ezekiel on feed production. Now, for those that joined us from the beginning, he has listed out some ingredients to make use of from the protein source, from the plant and the animal sources. So all these ingredients have been listed. So you can drop your questions on the comment section. And once he's back, he will take all those questions. Any questions you have regarding feed production, so just send in your questions and we'll have time to answer all your questions. So he's joining us back to the stream.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said,
after understanding. Okay.
Okay. No, I was just saying that for those that have questions, for those that have questions that they want to ask concerning the feed production, now concerning most of the ingredients you've listed before now, even the machines, so they can drop the questions on the comment section so that as we proceed, we'll take those questions and you'll be able to address them.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so you can proceed.
Oh, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, apart from knowing the model operandi of the machine, another thing you need to understand is the cost of machines. The cost of machines. You need to understand the cost of machines. You need to know the place where you should source the machines and how durable the machines are. You know, if you move around, you see a lot of feed mill that has been abandoned.
Yes, I've noticed it.
They don't, they don't know about the model operandi. They don't know what they should do. They don't know the kind of machine they should use and other things that needs to be put in place. You understand? So you need to know the cost of machines, and then you should have a good source for these machines.
Yeah.
It is good to import machines from outside the country. However, how about the maintenance?
Maintenance of it, yes.
How about the parts? I was told about a man that bought machines of over 16 million naira and imported it into the country. Whenever the machine has any fault, he will have to wait for 6 months before the parts will arrive the country for him to resume production.
And like they say, time is money.
Continue in business? Time is money. But the good thing is that we have a lot of good fabricators of these machines in Nigeria. Wow. A lot of people that can supply these machines are available. Good machines. The parts are available in the country. The modus operandi is easy, and everything that you need to know about the machine, they are all there. Then you must not own a machine. To start producing your fish feed, you must not own a machine. There are lots of owners of feed of the feed production line that have these machines, and they also commercialize. They have people bring feed to them, the pellets and use in their farm. So someone may be asking, how little can we start? We don't have the money. Move around, ask questions. There are those who have the machines and are willing to accept your feed and produce for you. This is why you are understanding the type of ingredients you should use and how to formulate the feed. Then number 6, you need to get durable machines. You need to get durable machines. Get machines with warranty. Ensure you have a good engineer who will follow you to buy the machines and know how the machines are being operated, or you get a good engineer to fabricate the machine for you here in the country, and from time to time is carrying out a routine service for you
Yeah.
on the machines. Then you need to understand the maintenance of the equipment. How will this equipment be maintained? How will it be used? You need to understand. Then you need to understand the environment of the machine installation. You need to prepare a good environment before you install your machines. You don't just, because it is not all about talking about the feed formulation and the ingredients used. You need to understand about machines too, and
Yeah.
how to use them effectively, because all this will contribute to a sustained production. Then you need to have a good machine operator on your farm or the site where you have to feed me. You don't just say you do everything. No, you need to have people that are grounded in it, employ them, have people work, and then it will go a long way. Now, feed is very expensive in Nigeria. All of us know. The cheapest feed you get
Yeah.
now is Blue Crown, and that's about 600 plus per kg. There are
Yeah.
feed out there that you get for 900 plus, 1,000 plus per kg. There are starter feed of almost 3,000 naira per kg. But if you have means where you produce your own fish feed, you'll be able to achieve the same results and then save a lot of costs.
Yeah.
How do you get into production? Number one, you can get into production by yourself. Savings,
Yeah.
the monies you have saved, you can get into production. But before going into production, as a commercial producer of fish feed, you must have done a survey of the market. You must have
Yeah.
marketing ability, you must have a good product, and you must have a penetrative ability to penetrate the
Yeah.
market, to win the market, and create a niche for yourself in the market. You must understand this technology and terminology in marketing. You don't just set out that is a good business. That's why a lot of people who just they are just told fish feed production is good. They once they move into it, after some time they pack out. They are now looking for someone to come and rent their machines. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
Replace.
sense. There are some feed mill that are not working. If you ask questions, you can get to those people and start using their feed mill.
Yeah.
Now, apart from self-funding, you can go into renting or leasing. You lease the machine for some years, you pay. You can go into partnership and collaboration. Then you can you can go into loans if you already have a market base.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm with you.
Now, components of a very good fish feed, the things that make up, a very good fish feed are: number one, protein; number two, lipids; number three, carbohydrates; number four, phosphorus; number five, water; number six, amino acids; number seven, vitamin; Number 8, minerals. Now, phosphorus, the trace elements, which are the amino acids and vitamins and minerals, some of them are available in some of these ingredients. So basically, what your water, and a major source of lipid is fish oil. Of course, I sell fish oil. I supply fish oil for a lot of people. A major source of lipid is fish oil because it contains a very high percentage of the polyunsaturated fatty acid. It has a long chain of the polyunsaturated fatty acid.
Yes.
It also has the icopantonic acid and the docosahexaenoic acid. All these things are available in the fish oil, and the fish needs them. The
Yeah.
fish needs them. Now, when your feed is being analyzed, what your analysis will show in your feed is it will show the ash content, it will show the moisture
Yeah.
content, it will show the fiber content. There's the crude fiber, the crude protein,
Yeah.
and crude lipid. These are the things that your analysis will reveal. And when you use these ingredients that I have mentioned and you follow these processes, you'll get a good result. Lastly, when you're producing your fish feed, a vital aspect of fish feed production is the mixing,
Yeah.
the sieving. The sieving and the mixing are the most important aspect of your fish feed production. You must ensure you have a wet mixer, either a dry mixer or a wet mixer. It will go a long way so that you have a uniform, a heterogeneous feed, not just a feed that is having um, GNC in one side, having maize on another side. You are supposed to have. Thank you for having me on
Yes.
this
Yeah.
lecture. I'm
Thank you
most
very,
grateful.
thank you
Thank
very much. It has been an informative lecture, and I know a lot of persons have learned a lot. Most persons are into feed production, but they don't really understand the nitty-gritty about the feed production. That's why you see them, maybe if they go to buy an ingredient and it's not in the market, they don't know what to do again. They don't really understand that, okay, this is a source of protein, this is a source of protein. So if this is not available, I can make do of these other sources. So that is one of the
exactly.
major issues a lot of persons have in terms of feed production. They just understand, okay, if you miss this, you get a production. And they don't know why they miss some of these ingredients. And from your lecture today, at least those that joined from the beginning will understand, okay, this is why I use these ingredients, this is why I use these ingredients. And this is what, like you said, the animal protein is more than the plant. So now you now have an understanding, okay, why am I using the plant if I can source the animal? And also, you make mention about the sources of these ingredients can be sourced locally. No, when people think about feed production, they think, okay, we must send it from abroad, we must send it from here. So, since it can be gotten locally, it's a good thing for them to embark on the production. And another aspect you
Yeah.
did wonderfully was the machines. No, I've seen a lot of persons complain about getting the machines. They imported it from abroad, and it has issues. The servicing, and even choosing a right machine is also a major challenge. So I have some questions to take, but we'll just take few of the ones that some persons have dropped online here. We'll answer the
Okay.
questions. Yeah. So the first one is from Lawan. So he said, at what rate do we miss these ingredients? So he's talking about the rate at which they miss, the ratio they miss the ingredients.
Now understand something. Um, the problem of mixing ingredients is humongous because a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand. It is easier. It is very easy, especially when you don't own your machines. Combine these ingredients together. 30%, 30 to um your amino acid, water and other things falls under the remaining percentage.
Yeah.
Because I just explained to you the things that the fish need: crude
Yeah.
protein, crude carbohydrates, crude lipid, moisture, ash.
Yeah.
It is best to mix your ingredients. You already know that you are producing 100 kg, for example.
Okay.
When you source these ingredients, mix them together before you take them to a grinder. That is
Yeah.
where the problem starts initially,
Yeah.
where you are grinding things differently, then you are bringing them to start mixing. You may not necessarily have a uniformly
Yeah.
mixed feed. So one of the things I have seen that works and still works very well is when you combine your ingredients and you grind them together. You're grinding the vitamin C, you're grinding the amino acids, you're grinding the lipids, you're grinding the carbohydrate, you're grinding the protein, you're mixing and grinding everything together. So as it is coming out, well, you may not even mix the lipid. You can just, of course, which is the fish oil, you can just spray it and mix it either with your wet mixer or the dried mixer, or you can use your manual mixer, which you do either in the bowl on the floor or anywhere. So that will be able
Yeah.
to give you a uniformly mixed feed in the ratio. Now, because your question is ratio of mixing
Yeah.
the ingredients, the ratio for mixing the ingredient is dependent on the size of the fish you are producing the feed for. Normally, people do 30, 30, 30, 10. People do 40, 30, 20, 10. Yeah, yes. People do 40, 40, 20. It depends on what you're producing. It depends on what you
Yes.
want
And
to
the size of
produce. Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Now another question is okay, what's your advice? Okay, what's your advice in procuring an extruder for a small scale production? Is it profitable or should we just buy commercial feed? It's asking for someone that is just starting up in fish farm, maybe a small scale. Should they go into production or is it profitable for you to just buy maybe feed that already been done by other farmers or other big farmers in production? So you got the question? So can you hear me?
What as a consultant, there are questions I just yeah, I can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? I
Yes,
can
yes,
hear
I
you.
can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you clearly. Okay, Mr. Speed will be joining us back. We just had a little network issue. So he's joining us back to the live stream. So Mr. Lawan, he's going to be taking your questions and other questions that have been asked in the comment section. So he's joining us now. Okay.
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you now, clearly.
All right. Now, there are questions. You know, as a consultant, where I'm careful in answering questions.
Yeah.
There are questions I just can't give a direct answer because there are questions that warrant me to ask you questions. If you ask me, what is the advice for procuring an extruder for small scale production? Or should we just buy commercial feed? Your question is can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm with you.
The question I'm asking this person now is, what is a small scale production?
Yes.
You know, if I ask this person now what a small scale production is, he might be telling me 10,000.
10,000 tons.
He might even tell me 5,000. You know, now if you're producing 5,000, in fact, if you're even doing 2,000, 3,000 tons, and you have the ability to buy the machine, please do. Because you discover that maximally, if it is too much, your production cost will be around 350, 400 for producing your fish feed, including running cost and every other costs. Now, how would you relate that with buying feed of 600, 700, 800?
2,000, yeah.
You're not making profits. And I know you are in the business for profit making.
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So it's better to just buy your commercial feed machine and then manage it. And what it does also is, when you successfully get your machine and it is working, it will now create an awareness for you to have a bigger capacity of farm.
Yes.
Because if you thought you were on a small scale and then you have a machine that can produce, you'll be looking at scaling it higher. You'll be looking at scaling it up. You want to increase your capacity. Because if you were using 700 naira or 800 naira to buy feed, and now you're producing your feed at 400, it means you
can double your.
It means you have something better.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, then there's a question. See, okay, from Sunday. He said, please give us an example on how to formulate feed for 5 months old catfish, like 1,000 kg production.
Mr. Kenneth will give you that. Mr. Kenneth will give you that. I'm into that one. Is this thing. Mr. Kenneth can always reach him, and he will tell you how to do that. I've already given you the proportion. So it's now dependent, because listen, for a 5-month-old fish, all they need is maintenance ration and energy. They don't need protein. At that age, your fish needs all the growth they need. They have acquired it.
Yes.
So what you're doing now is to balance their weight and then help them to balance their weight so that it doesn't drop, and then help them add more weight.
Yeah, thank you for that.
At that point, you reduce the protein and you increase the carbohydrate. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Then this one says, what's the crude protein for barley? So for those that have dropped your questions, if you still have more questions, you can still drop the questions, and if we have time, would attend to your questions on the feed production.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so he said, what's the crude protein for barley?
Barley, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Barley has a CP of 11.33%. And barley has a carbohydrate, an energy source of 3,073.
Okay. Okay, so someone is
So the
asking.
3% of barley is
Okay, hello. Okay,
Can
Mr.
you
Okay.
hear
Yeah, I can.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But the network is a bit breaking. Okay, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Someone asked a question about, okay, how many days do I need for training on feed production? Then another question.
You're the one that can answer the question, Mr. Kenneth.
Yeah, we'll attend to that later. Then someone said, please,
Well,
does Brooks.
you can get through to Mr. Kenneth later, but however, fish feed production is not what you learn in one day.
Yes.
It's not what you learn in 1 week.
It's a steady, it's a continuous training. Okay, someone's asking, does broodstock need protein?
Go ahead, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, there's a question someone asked, okay, does broodstock need protein? Can you hear me?
Yes, broodstock needs protein for absolutely. Broodstock needs protein for the development of their eggs and their yolk sac.
Yes.
Broodstock needs a lot of protein. However, Hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Broodstock needs protein for the development of their eggs and the 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 yolk sac, the sac that is carrying their eggs. It needs a lot of protein. However, you must be careful in the quantity of protein you load the broodstock with. This is why the broodstock must be fed every day. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This is why the broodstock must not be fed every day. The
Yeah.
broodstock is only given a maintenance ration. You
Yes.
don't load broodstock. I've seen people who say broodstock needs a lot of protein, then they feed the broodstock every day. At the end, the broodstock accumulated fats,
No egg.
no egg. The tummy is protruded as though it is egg that is inside. But when it was stripped, it was
Fat.
fat that was coming out. Then to carry out the benefit of doubt, it was dissected. There was no single egg.
Egg.
Fats was inside. So you have to be careful the quantity of protein and lipids you give to your fish. The broodstock needs protein, but not too much. It should be regulated. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So that's the much of the questions you can accommodate. Now, I know you are into the supply of most of these raw materials you have mentioned today. For most persons that want to go into the feed production ask, okay, how can we be able to source these materials? Because sourcing the materials has been one of the major challenge most persons have encountered. Okay, how do we source most of these materials? Are they readily available? So you can just tell us, okay, for those that want to get these materials, those that want maybe to know how to get the machines, how can they get the raw materials? Is it something your company, the Speedy Grace farms, is it something they can deliver, and the processes of how these are carried out?
Yes, anywhere you are in Nigeria, there are transport vehicles in Ibadan here. We can always deliver your goods to you anywhere in Nigeria where you are. I've sent things to Ghana, I've sent things to Niger. So it depends on, and this of course these are outside Nigeria. So anywhere
Yeah.
you are in Nigeria, I am in Ibadan or your state, and we have vehicles that are going traveling to different parts of Nigeria in these states.
Yeah.
Both the normal vehicles, cargo vehicles, we can always send your goods to you. Also, machines, durable machines are available that can be sent to you anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, for those that will be needing, yes, the name is on Facebook, Ezekiel Speed. You can link up with him on Facebook, Ezekiel Speed, and also for Speedy Grace Farms on Facebook. They have a page. Now it's on Facebook, so you can reach out to him at any time for any of these materials you need. And also, if you send me a
Can
direct
you hear
message,
me?
yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, so I said they can reach out to you on Facebook. The name is Speedy Ezekiel on Facebook, and also Speedy Grace Farms on Facebook also. So they can reach out. So your phone number, you can call out your number for maybe those that want to maybe reach out to you concerning guides on the feed production, the materials available.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth. My direct line is 08058341687. 080 or +234 8058341687. It is a direct line and it is the company's WhatsApp line. At any time, you can reach us and we'll respond. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth.
Okay, thank you for joining us, and it was a nice session. We've learned a lot. Now, for those persons because of the time difference that will not be able to join us in the live, the video will be available on our YouTube channel immediately after this session, so they can go and rewatch, drop their questions, and we'll attend to those questions that we are able to take during the live session. So it was a great one having you in the live session. So thank you. We hope to do this more often and see you again. So thank you, Speedy Grace Farm and Mr. Speed Ezekiel. So thank you for joining us for the live stream.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful.
Sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone for joining us in the live stream today. It was an amazing one. It was very informative. Now, for those that did start with us when the live stream began, you can, after the session, like I said earlier, the video will be available. You can go through our channel. Please ensure you hit on the subscribe button in the YouTube channel. You can share to your friends and invite others to join the channel. Now, as time goes on, we have different live sessions that can give you guides on different areas in the catfish farm. Now, for those that still have questions that we are unable to take during the live session, you can also go to the channel and drop your questions. And also, our WhatsApp number is on the channel, and you can also input the WhatsApp number. You can see the WhatsApp number will be displayed on the screen, on the comment section. Now you can send us a WhatsApp message and we'll be able to attend to any of your questions through our WhatsApp platform. So do well to send us a WhatsApp message at any time and we'll attend to your questions and give you guide if you want to go into the catfish farm production and any area you are going into in the catfish farm value chain. So have a wonderful evening.